Alright, Android here, and I'll be casting the Set Sail for Fail tournament. This is the preliminaries between Argy, a Protoss player, and Elvanos, a Zerg player. This is going to be the one cast preliminary game unless I decide to cast more later on, but I don't think so. So basically this is going to be the one casted preliminary game because I think it's going to be the most exciting ones. The brackets were kind of random, but somehow only 3 diamond players ended up in the preliminaries, and this is between two diamond players. So this is the highest level play in the preliminaries. There are a lot of really good players not having to play preliminaries, but you know, these guys were unlucky and have to play basically. Alright, so we can see purple Zerg up here in the right corner, Elvanos, and green Protoss down in the left corner. Let's just open the production tab. They're both producing workers right now. So there's not much to talk about really, except this awesome overlord trying to float to his opponent as fast as he can, or to the little hole here, because it's very common for Zerg players to send their overlords here on this map. Anyways, let's talk about possible strategies, since there's not much else to talk about right now. The Protoss player, of course, is probably going to wall off, since that 6 pool can be so devastating from Zerg players. He wants to make himself comfortable, wall off, will start to wall off with a pylon, and then go with a probe to see what his enemy is doing. He has to check out that nothing fancy is going on. And nothing fancy seems to be going on, but you know, still he can basically see that the opponent is not getting a 6 or 8 pool or whatever, and he can see an standard extractor coming up, as we can see the probe going down. Elvanos does not want it to scout, which could mean he wants to do something special, or that he just wants to deny scouting. I would like to point out that it looks really retarded when people pull all their workers in order to kill your probe, and your probe actually gets away, because he loses some mining time. But you don't actually lose that much, so if you are successful in doing so, it is definitely worth it. So credits to Elvanos for pulling that off. We can see a forge coming up, which could either mean a cannon rush, a denied expansion. We can see he's going to build a pylon here, so he's probably going to deny an expansion, although he doesn't really know that his opponent is going to expand. I personally kind of disagree with this, because he cannot confirm that he did not confirm that his opponent wanted to expand, or that he was trying to expand, but rather he put up the pylon anyways. So it could backfire if Elvanos was not ever looking to fast expand. If he was, for example, going for a roach rush, this pylon would have been a complete waste. But he does not. Well, actually, okay, I can't tell if he's going for a roach rush or not yet. He's building a queen right now, he's building more drones, no Zerglings coming up quite yet, and this cannon coming up, but not really going to do much right now. It might deny an expansion later. This is pretty standard, but it's usually only used after scouting a really fast expand from your Zerg opponent. You put up a forge and then you put up a cannon, and it can work really well. So hopefully this turns out real well for Argy. As we can see, the Overlord float here as I predicted. Roach Warren coming up, which could either be used for some kind of early offense, since it's one basing, or perhaps just you know, to have roaches because they're awesome for defense. Elvanos seems to be looking to one base, at least right now in the beginning, which is of course viable for Zerg, especially since the last patch, when roaches became so much stronger than they were earlier. This sellout is blocking off, as I said. He built a little wall here. He's got a forge, a gateway, as he's building a cybernetics core, not another gateway. And another pylon coming up. It's not really supply blocked, but I guess he wants to be sure that he doesn't become supply blocked anytime soon. His cannon is guarding here, and it's pretty much safe against any early Zergling aggression whatsoever. The roaches come out, more roaches coming, as we can see a 7 roach rush coming, or at least a 7 roach aggression. I'm not sure if the 7 roach rush can actually be faster than this, but this is a relatively fast roach aggression. As we can see, these 7 roaches are making their move, and this expansion is trying to get up, but that cannon, I have to admit I was wrong. The cannon is actually proving pretty damn useful as the expansion gets denied. Now we'll see if Elvanos tries to expand somewhere else. It looks like the drone, yes, he wants to expand down here instead, which of course can become very risky for him later on. But expanding with huge distances can also be an advantage for Zerg, as you have the advantage in any open terra and large distances since your forces are so fast. And here comes Elvanos' attack. He's trying to kill the zealots. The zealots go down, the wall is open, but roaches aren't really that fast. Rather he looks to try to kill the pylon. I don't think that... okay, I think the pylon's going to go down. Yes, it does, but the roaches all die. The forge and one cannon is unpowered, but I'll have to say that Argy was the winner of this battle, losing a pylon, 2 zealots, not even becoming supply blocked. And that's pretty much all he lost, whereas his opponent sacrificed 7 roaches to do that damage. If I were Elvanos, I would have probably pulled back after killing the first zealot or so, but he did not, and he lost his forces. But by no means is he at a huge disadvantage. Actually, let's take a look at the income. It looks pretty even, but the Protoss player Argy has right now a slight advantage. Actually, it's not that slight, it's almost 50% income advantage, both in gas and in minerals. That is actually kinda huge, as we can see 15, okay, now 21 harvesters. That is just Zerg producing mass drones really fast for ya. Alright, so we could at least see 15 harvesters versus 25, which was a pretty good economical advantage for Argy, as he's getting his first immortal right now, which can be deadly for roaches. And Elvanos, oh, he's got a Hydralisk den up already. Sorry for missing that. He's doing way better than I expected him to do in this situation after losing his roaches, as he apparently upgraded to Lair. You know, he could probably see this immortal coming, or at least expect that it might be coming in some way, or air or whatever. Hydralisks are really good to have, and he upgraded to Lair relatively early. He also has his expansion up and a second queen. So basically he's got an expansion and he's got Lair. The Protoss player, however, is also putting up an expansion, but does not even have his main base fully saturated yet. Almost, but not quite. He will not be able to transfer probes with the highest efficiency, and thus he will not be able to utilize his expansion very fast. Elvanos has slightly... okay, I was going to say slightly less drones, but apparently he's got more drones. I guess they come from here. He's got less drones on his main, but his income is just slightly better. So Elvanos has once again regained an economical advantage, or what am I saying, once again, he never really had it, but now he does have an economical advantage. Slight, but still it exists. He's got a slight economical advantage over his opponent, Argy, who seems to want to pull in, and this would be pretty good timing to attack. I'm not sure his forces will be able to... I'm not quite sure. Let's check at the army value here. His army value is a lot higher. We might see Elvanos go down. Still, it looks like his army will be able to fend that attack off. It seems yes. And Argy realizes this and pulls back in time. And roaches and hydras are so terribly effective against gateway units. Protoss really needs High Templars or Colossi out to deal with them once they reach a decent mass. As we can see, this very small army, cost-wise, in comparison, managed to completely, you know, push back this huge army. And that is a big deal for Zerg, but you know, every race has different mechanics, so it's not necessarily unbalanced just because a lesser army cost-wise can push back a bigger army cost-wise. Yes, cost-wise. I'm going to spam that word over and over continuously until you get so sick of it. Anyways, the tide have completely turned now, however, from a situation not long ago where Argy had the economical and army advantage for a while. Right now, Elvanos has an advantage over Argy, both in army and economics, I believe. No, Argy has the economical advantage right now, as Elvanos have been focusing on getting some troops out. He's making a second extractor at his expo, as we can take a look at the... Oh my god, Colossus coming out. That is a big, big deal. He is going to be able to demolish these Hydras and Roaches. If the range upgrade is out, let's take a look. No, unfortunately haven't started the range upgrade. The Colossi will still be effective, however. I expect that range upgrade to get started very, very soon. Come on, Argy, seriously? Not cool, man, you seriously, you really need that range upgrade. These Hydras are going to rip the Colossus apart. Since they also have 6 ranges, you can see here, they will be able to reach the Colossi unless range has been upgraded. And finally, the range gets upgraded. There is a slight window now where Elvanos might be able to simply wreak havoc on Argy's base, although these force fields, of course, will be able to hold him out of the base until the Colossi range upgrade is done, so I completely take that statement back. But still, he might have been able to deal some damage right now, but he's not going to be able to do so. But a Spire comes up. I'm not quite sure where it is. Where's that Spire? I'm trying to find the Spire, but I cannot find this. Oh, there, of course, I did miss that. I'm probably blind. But that's okay, why would I need to actually see stuff when I'm shoutcasting, just talking anyways, right? Alright, so he's got a decent sized Hydra plus Roach army here against this Stalker, Immortal, Sellout, Sentry, Colossi army. There is more variation to the Protoss army, of course that doesn't necessarily mean it is more powerful. He's got an Overseer, probably just in case of DTs, always good to bring one with you, and of course he gets to see you know, high ground stuff even when he's down, so it's always good and beneficial to bring an Overseer just, you know, later in the game than very early when you can afford it. It's not a big deal, it doesn't cost much, and it's very beneficial, and it, of course, can also scout for you, so that's good. Credits to Elvanos for bringing an Overseer, I completely agree with that. We can see this Overlord moving in, probably trying to scout. It's detected, it seems, as Argus forces move in to destroy it. I don't think it's gonna be able to see much. Nope, it's not able to see anything except, of course, he saw the Colossi, which is of course a big deal as well. I mean, he was not able to see any buildings. Hallucination is being upgraded. This is... I am glad I spectated this match. I hope we can see some some hallucination stuff coming out, because honestly, that is almost never used in any game whatsoever. I've seen it used so few times. I mean, I have seen it used. I don't personally use it when I'm Protoss. I don't know why. It's kind of underrated. Can be used, especially for psychological stuff. And honestly, I'm glad that he's taking it, because I'm probably going to find it really interesting if he actually uses it. This Spire is up though. I hope Elvanos, well, for Elvanos' sake, I hope he is able to get some Corruptors out, because this is looking really bad. He's not going to be able to compete with this army when there's 3 Colossi here. That is too much. And the Corruptors are out. Now it will suddenly be tough for Argy to deal with Elvanos' army, but slightly more Roaches in my opinion, but this army is very strong. Of course, it's a matter of opinion. The Corruptors trying to snipe Colossi, but one gets shot down and they're not really able to do a lot of damage. Of course, he doesn't really want to move down the ramp, because he's put himself in a very unfavorable position right now, as Argy can just force field the ramp. However, Argy does not seem to have found... never mind. I can't believe I missed that. He have found Elvanos' expansion, is wrecking it with Stalkers. This is... credits to Argy for this multitasking. I can't believe I missed that, sorry folks, but I did find it before before the expo was gone anyways. As we can see this army moving out, the Corruptors are probably going to be too much for the Colossi. I think there are just so many Corruptors right now. These Colossi are going to go down very fast, and this Hydra Roach army is just trying to stay alive so that they will be able to deal with all the other forces. These Colossi are trying to deal as much damage as they can. As we can see, more Stalkers blinking in, I think. Of course, he's got blink on his Stalkers by now. Most Corruptors... they just flew back. As we can see, Elvanos' army dying. However, he's using... of course, he is Zerg, is able to morph in a ton of Roaches at the same time. And this is heating up as these Roaches, will they be able to fend off the attack? And a lot of Roaches pop out. They're able to kill a Stalker, they're able to... more Stalkers blinking away. There are just too many Immortals and too many Stalkers for these Roaches to deal with. It looked as if he would have a chance, but more Stalkers coming in, and I think it's over at this point for Elvanos. the GG comes out and the first game in Set Sail for Fail is over.